Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Cutting Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm a dive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C and Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get.
All right, today we are joined with best-selling and Pulitzer Prize nominated author, a man who's had his life made into a movie, a man who helped start a bank, a man who helped launch the Stairmaster, and my good friend Clifton Taulbert. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thanks, Clay. It's a pleasure.
Hey, I really do appreciate it. And today we're going to talk a little bit about failures. We're going to talk about really overcoming adversity. Everybody, if you're watching right now and you're a human, we've all had adversity. I know right now I'm dealing with my dad having cancer. Doesn't feel good. I know that my son was born blind. I know that everybody watching this has had some kind of personal tragedy or financial tragedy, but yet we have to press on. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to ask you some questions, and we'll see what we can learn from your experience. So I guess question number one here is, what have been some of your failures?
You know, when I think about that, and you are right, we don't live in this world without failures. But the failures are not necessarily the worst thing that can happen to us, because it helps to shape us for the future. And I won't necessarily call it a failure, but I can call this maybe the greatest tragedy in my life that could have easily set me back for the rest of my life, was the death of my daughter. I almost gave up. I didn't have a reason to live. Annie was the light of our lives, and when Annie died, I somehow felt that I had died with her.
How old was she?
She was 7 years old.
7.
But at the same time, as time moved along, my wife and my son and myself, the three of us began to gel in such a way. And it's as if that challenge gelled us in such a way that we became this invincible unit of three, determined that we would make Annie's life worth remembering.
Was just because I feel like, and I don't know the whole story, and that's why I'm asking, mm-hmm. But was she sick?
That's the difficult part. Annie was born with sickle cell anemia, but she had never been sick a day in her life. She got sick one day, and 21 days later, she was dead.
And so you're dealing with the death of your daughter, and I can't imagine that, other than, I know my son couldn't see. I felt helpless, and it was a tough time. What did you feel like doing? Did you feel like crawling into a hole, and then what did you do? I mean, what did you feel like doing, and then what did you do? Well,
several things to answer that, because let's back a little bit. Okay. Before I married, before Annie. One of the great challenges that I faced was leaving the Mississippi Delta, and I thought St. Louis would be the answer. And I realized that I didn't have all the qualifications that were needed. And so I have my high school diploma. I graduated #1 in my class.
Boom.
And I'm just so excited to be in this great city, and I can't get a job. I can't get a job for a number of reasons. And I'm trying everything that I can. But there is one job that I do not want. This one job I've said I would never do. I would never wash dishes for anybody. Because that to me was a throwback to the world I had left.
Okay.
But I had to do it. I had to break down and do this job that I didn't want to do because I was committed to taking care of myself.
Okay.
I was committed to helping my family. So I had to do that job. But that job became the cotton fields again. And I realized I'm in the pots and pan room in St. Louis washing dishes. My physical body is there, but my mindset is not there. If my mindset had been there, I guarantee you I wouldn't be sitting here with you today.
And I want to give just a little bit of context for people that maybe don't know. You grew up in the completely segregated time in American history where African Americans and Caucasian Americans do not.
There was no social interaction for the most part. It was almost nil.
Okay.
And so that, that becomes the construct for defining what I want and what I thought would happen. And to make this closure with Annie, and when Annie passed away, and I had to draw from some strength, had I not been able to survive Mississippi, had I not been able to survive not being able to get a job, every survival, you build up something inside of you that prepares you for something bigger that you may have to deal with. So that's why I'm saying I don't rue the day that challenges come, but what I try to do is figure out how to get beyond that, because that success movement will be an asset at some point. And I think it was an asset around our lives because I had learned over the years not to cave in.
I don't know if on the camera crew, the people here were here when this was happening, but kind of alluding to, you're going to St. Louis and you're getting all sorts of rejection, and I know when we were, even for Thrive, as we were building a team of people, and we were talking to venture capital partners and stuff, the amount of rejection you get is unbelievable. And you have to have that attitude of like, well, I guess if this company in St. Louis didn't hire me, then I'm one step closer to the one that will.
But
and you have to kind of approach it that way, don't you?
I learned from that because I was like 17, 18 in St. Louis, and no one rejects you from picking cotton.
Yeah.
Too bad. But you can go. If you can walk, you can pick cotton. So I'm not dealing with rejection historically. I get into the city where the culture is entirely different. The expectations are greater than I've ever seen, and I'm expected to do things that I know absolutely nothing about. I am failing in front of my own face when I'm assuming that I've come to this city to achieve and to really accomplish great things.
Well, there's all sorts of research that shows that entrepreneurs don't start a business for two reasons. I mean, there's more, but the two main ones is they don't have capital. They feel like they don't have capital or access to capital. The other one is they're afraid to start. They're afraid, where do I start? And they're kind of that fear, like mixed with I don't know what to do, but it's also that fear. How do you battle fear? I mean, how do you do it? I mean, you've taken your book and got it into bookstores all across the country. You can walk into any bookstore and you can find your book. And every once in a while, I'll go into like a Barnes & Noble and I'll see 8 Habits of the Heart there, or I'll see a different book. How do you battle fear?
Well, fear is a real thing. It's almost like an unwanted guest that shows up and really wants to park its car or sit on the sofa with you. And the thing about fear is that it never really lies to you. It only tells you the truth that takes you down rather than the truth that can lift you up. And because it is so apparent to you what you're hearing, you believe it. And that's what fear does. It just feeds on itself and grows. So how does one get rid of it? What do you have to do in order to move yourself beyond that fear situation that comes up in your life? For me, it does show up. But you also have to have memory of days when you didn't have fear, counting those little successes as if they were really, really big ones.
And I think there's a couple moves you can do here if you're feeling like you're stuck with fear. I've heard people say you either have to be dumb or numb. Now, I kind of have a unique hybrid where I do both, I think. But what I'll do is if I am just freaked out like today, we had a presentation today, and I'm a little bit freaked out because I know who's going to be there. I know who's going to be. I was thinking it's going to be a big crowd. Now we're down to just 3 or 4 people, and the 3 or 4 people who are there are the people who needed to be there. And I'm saying to myself, oh, because this is going to mean it's more one-on-one questions. It's a little scary. I don't know if you've ever done a presentation where you definitely need it to go well, and there's just, and so I am like, well, I'm not going to think about it at all, in fact, until the meeting, because I can't do anything with this thought. So I just plunged myself into busy work, doing other activities right up until the meeting, because I did not want to be nervous. I didn't want to allow that emotion to fear to get there.
But that was a conscious decision on your part. And I think that's what we're telling the audience right now, is that fear is real. I mean, it is not a figment of your imagination. It's real. But you can also consciously decide not to give it a seat in your house.
How do you then keep yourself moving forward when everything seems to be falling apart? Because as you start a business, you start running out of capital. Then you get capital. And then an employee quits. Now you got another hole in the boat. You run over here and you plunge, you block that, you plug that hole, and now you're just bailing water, and you're going, yeah, I'm good. I got the capital, I got the employee. And you're sitting on the boat, and you've got both. You're trying to hold those holes, and then you spring another leak called no customers, and now you're like, oh no, and so you're you're doing all that, and it feels like an entrepreneurship. It's like duct taping holes and trying to just keep on going. How do you do it?
You do it, you just do it.
Okay,
but it's also an incredible learning process, because when you just do it, you really understand what you have done, and you're more in tune to how that outcome should be, and it becomes a treasure, for lack of a better term, of having accomplished something that you can put in your wheelhouse, because you're going to need that again. You're going to need that memory that, oh, wait a minute, 3 months ago I had this and I solved it.
I just this morning, my dad, my dad,
yeah.
And he's battling cancer, and found out it's, spreading and all. It's a bad deal. And I'm driving to work today, and I just, that feeling, that emotional, just like, why is this happening to me? I start to feel that, what is the deal? What's going on? And I remember this morning, I just said to myself, I'm like, I literally say it out loud while I'm driving. I say, I'm driving the Hummer of Love, and I'm like, it's going to be a great day. Dad's going to be proud. I'm calling him at the end of the day. I'm going to talk to my dad. I am not going to lose my energy today. I'm not going to get zapped. I'm done with it. I am done with that feeling. I'm moving on. And I'm talking to myself. If I am an entrepreneur right now and I feel myself going through a challenging time, personal health, adversity, do you ever talk to yourself?
I wrote a chapter in a new book called Wrestling at Midnight, Talking to Yourself. That to me is an incredible piece of advice. It is great medicine. Talk out loud to yourself, stand in the mirror and look at yourself, talk to yourself, do an analysis of your day out loud, tell yourself what you've done right, tell yourself what you've done wrong, tell yourself what you can do better, and literally talk to yourself. And tell yourself that circumstances can be better, and anticipate that to become a reality.
What's interesting is, as you say this, I know there's a lot of people watching this right now who are going, I feel kind of scared right now. If somebody is watching this and they feel like they are they're afraid to make the first step, what do you say to that person?
You can't really run in the race if you're not at the starting line and you're not ready to get set, go. There will be fear. We'll be right there with you. But you can really brush fear to the side. You can do that. Because I'm telling you, you can do that. Because when I didn't have that job, and one thing about a mortgage payment, they never call you from the bank and say, gee, Mr. Taulbert, we heard you didn't have a job. Don't worry about that monthly payment. No, nothing stopped coming.
Yeah.
Everything was continuing. But the idea of movement, the idea that I could make a difference in my own life, I learned that lesson at a very difficult time. And it's a lesson I have never, ever forgotten.
I have heard you been described to a gentleman who does not know you well, but we were conversing about one of your books, and he had said, well, he's lucky. I've heard that, he's lucky. And I look at this poster over here, and I don't know if we can look at this, it says luck. And Ray Kroc, he says, the two most important requirements for major success are, first, being in the right place at the right time, and second, doing something about it. Now, with the Stairmaster, you had an opportunity to market this product, and it wasn't selling any units. And how many trade shows did you go to before you sold a Stairmaster? Come on now, go back there with me. How many did you?
Clay, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. The reality was awful. But the dream was driving me because I knew that Lanny Potts had something, even though the world of fitness had not recognized it.
Lanny Potts is the inventor of the Stairmaster?
He's the guy who invented the Stairmaster.
Lanny Potts.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew he had something. But here's the problem is, I had no idea about physiology. You know, I was not a health nut. You know, I was not talking Nautilus every day.
Yeah.
But I recognized the value in that. And I set out to make it happen. It's almost like in 1803, Thomas Jefferson told Lewis and Clark, go west. Tell me what's west of the Mississippi.
All right.
Well, that's like I felt.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was west of that Stairmaster, but I knew I had to find out.
How many trade shows did you go to? I want to know, what's the number of trade shows that you went to?
I went to trade shows every year for probably 3 years.
So for 3 years, you marketed the Stairmaster without getting paid?
No, they don't give you money when you're working on commission if you don't.
So you're on a commission-only basis, and you're not selling anything, so you're not really making any money. How many hours a week did you spend learning about the Stairmaster or trying to learn about how to sell it? I mean, how many hours a week were you devoting to selling this thing?
You know, I would love to say it was like a 24/7. I mean, obviously there was some break time and some downtime, but I had a lot to learn. But a lot to learn when you believe in what you're doing. It is not as earth-shattering as one would think,
okay.
But it does take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And there were, you know, friends who told me that it wasn't going to work. You know, you're wasting your time. But you have to know inside of yourself if you believe in what you're doing. If you're driven by something inside of you that is bigger than what the outside conversation is, that's what really matters.
So you marketed it for 3 years before you sold anything?
Yeah.
Okay. I found out today that the top farmers insurance agent in the state of Oklahoma has a 0.8 of a 1%, so 0.8 of a percent closing ratio. So it's not even a percent. And he sells more policies per month than anybody else. Blew my mind. And so one of the guys in our district was asking, what's your secret? And I guess he responded with 14,600 outbound calls per month. And we close 144 deals, and that equals 0.08. But what? So as you're marketing for 3 years, some people would say you're unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Some people would say you're a failure. I would even say in this context here that you were dealing with 3 years of rejection.
Definitely.
Then you finally got a deal?
Well, you know, and there is some rejection that's hurtful.
Yeah.
There's some rejection that set you all the way back to Mississippi to the cotton fields.
Okay.
And I think with Stairmaster, it was all of them. But at one point, there came this man who made a difference.
Who's this man?
He was a guy that worked for the military.
Okay.
And he realized what I was doing wrong.
Yeah.
And he pulled me aside and began to share with me what I needed to do in order to accomplish what I needed to accomplish.
And then when you finally did, the United States government purchased some Stairmasters, right? That was your first deal. Mm-hmm. How many did they purchase?
This was the Milton Air Naval Station in Middleton, Tennessee. I know exactly where it was.
They ordered 1 unit or 2?
No, they ordered 1 unit. Keep in mind, now, nobody ever heard of this before.
The Stairmaster?
Yeah.
No one heard about it?
Nobody. I mean, just...
So they called and you're like, did they call you? Did they mail you an order?
No, they saw it, you know, we had our four color brochures, but I didn't realize that people like to have a sample. But I couldn't carry the sample in the car. The thing was huge.
Yeah.
So I took a brochure.
So did they call you on the phone though and say, I want to get one of these guys, or did they? Do you remember what happened? How that order happened, the first one?
Yeah, I got a telephone call.
And were you want to buy a Stairmaster? I mean, were you kind of in shock? Were you like, are you messing with me?
No, I wasn't in shock, but I was so thrilled. And in that being thrilled, I realized even more what I didn't know. And even more how I was treading into territory that I had never been. I mean, this is not like selling a Stairmaster to a gym on 15th Street. This is to the United States government. And I am literally scared to death.
Did you go Did you actually go there to see if the Stairmaster was working properly?
Oh, it's worse than that. We shipped the Stairmaster, and Lanny and I left the very next day, like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and put another Stairmaster on the back of the truck so that we could beat it to the station, driving there. So just in case something went wrong, we had everything we needed to make it work.
I want to make sure, because when we had a meeting with Mr. David Robinson, a while back, and I put the presentation on a thumb drive. I put it on Dropbox.com. I put it on the computer because of this story. And sure enough, the day of our presentation, the computer would not work, but I had it on a backup. Yep. And I remember this story from you, but you actually put it on the back of, was it on the back of a truck?
Back of a pickup truck.
And you drove?
We drove from Tulsa, Oklahoma to Millerton, Tennessee.
How many hours? Like
forever.
Forever. And you're driving and you're trying to race against time to get there at the same time the other one?
At the same time, you got there through commercial traffic.
Did you tell, you're married at the time?
Yeah.
So you told Barbara, I'm driving to Tennessee, I'm going to...
Well, Lanny came by and humped the horn 3 o'clock in the morning, picked me up.
3 in the morning?
Yes.
Okay, you didn't wait till 9?
No.
Okay, so 3 in the morning, you get up, you drive out there, you show up, what do?
You shake hands, and everybody's there to see it unveiled.
Were they shocked? You guys drove all the way here?
No, they weren't shocked, but it was kind of strange to see us with one they didn't order.
Sir, we're just in the area. We were just servicing other military bases in this area.
But it's the idea of wanting to take care of your customer. It's the idea of knowing what you have, but at the same time being prepared to handle a small adversity should it happen.
When I first heard this story, one of the things it did in my mind was it's wanting to wow the customer. And one of the things I picked up, as I do now, I've done this for since I started sending emails. So I think it's 2001 or something. When a customer ever gets an email from me, I'll always call and say, did you get the email? Or when if somebody calls me, I'll text them, and I always have this kind of double follow-up thing. And it's because I'm always worried that the Stairmaster is not going to show up, maybe. I guess that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, well, it's not only that. I think it brings another level of comfort to your customer, that you are very concerned about them, and you want to make sure that they're taken care of and nothing slipped up along the way.
So if you had to quantify a number of rejections that you had, how many, it was hundreds of rejections before you sold? It was 3 years. Were there hundreds of rejections?
There are two types of rejections.
Okay.
There are the rejections where people say, we have enough equipment. We don't need anything else.
We're good right now.
Yeah, we're good. Okay. And then there are the rejections that are the hurtful ones. Where in the world did you get this? These are stairs to where? You just stand on stairs and go nowhere. No, we don't want it. I got a lot of those.
And so, but you were able to mentally say, hey, I left the cotton fields. I took a job washing dishes. If I can get through that, I can get through this.
And that goes back to what we mentioned earlier. Whether it's failure, whether it's adversity, our ability to face these issues head on and to really take charge of our own lives, we are building up an asset base that we can draw from that prepares us for the future that we don't quite know how it will look, but we can be prepared for.
I know with our son being, when he was born blind, that to me just took the air out of my sail. It just kind of, and moving forward now, when I have a client that rejects me in some capacity, it happens all the time, I almost don't process it. And I had one guy I talked to who was a venture capital guy, and I'll never forget this. This just happened a while back. He says, no. And in my mind, I instinctively process as a need for additional information. And I said, well, let me ask you, what's your main concern? And I go again, and he says no. And I ask again, and I said, well, anyway, on the third time, I got a yes. And I remember talking to him, and he just commented, you don't seem to process no very well. And I just basically referenced, I guess I never articulated it that way, but it's kind of like, I've dealt with some adversity over here, and so, you telling me no doesn't really register in my mind.
And, the easiest thing in the world is to kind of go with the flow.
Okay.
And if that flow is no, go with it. But I don't like no.
Okay.
Not when I know that I'm at a good position, I have something to offer. The other person may not know everything that I know about that, but to come out with just a blank no, You know, I recoil because I'm human. I recoil. But I don't recoil for more than 24 hours. Then I'm back at it again, finding another angle, another avenue in order to make it happen.
You recoil, but usually it doesn't take you longer than about 24 hours is what you're saying.
You know, that 48 hours is too long to worry about somebody else in that type of a situation.
I've never seen you battle adversity where it's got you down for more than about 5 minutes. So I'm impressed that you said 24 hours.
I'm human, just like everybody else.
Now let me ask you this here. We're getting into the brass tacks of some specific action steps that the folks at home can imply. What do you do on a daily basis to stay positive? What are you doing on a daily basis to kind of, you know, stay positive? Or do you read a book every morning? Do you pray? What do you do? What's your process? Because all of us deal with failure. What is your thing to get yourself coached up every morning?
Well, the first thing that I tend to do every morning is when I start out my day, I really have reflection.
Okay.
Because I become thankful, first of all, that I'm alive. Because that means there's nothing I can't tackle because I'm here to do it. If I was not here, then I can't handle it. So I become very thankful for just being alive, no matter what the problems are. I become thankful that I'm here to deal with them because I know there are millions of people who would want to be here just to deal with them. So starting out in that mode of being thankful for life, and then as I drive to work or whatever, you know, I think about my family. And I think about what can I do to make their lives better, you know, and I have to kind of guard myself there because I love work, but I also realize that my family and me, we have to have that time together as well. So I have to have that emotional time there. I have to plan for that as well.
Have you been guilty of working too much?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then so you reflect, and do you ever go, yesterday was a too much work day for me. I need to. Okay.
Yep.
So on a daily basis, let's just say that yesterday you had a bad thing that happened. So today, you wake up, you are thankful. Do you make a to-do list of kind of what you're going to get done for the day? Do you chart it out after?
I start out there driving with thankfulness.
Yep.
But once I get beyond that, I kind of find myself moving into the world of work.
Okay.
And the first thing I do when I get to my office, I have a notepad. I have a computer, but I have a notepad. That's what I use, the notepad. Notepad.
You heard it here. Notepad, do not use computers. Is that a principle?
No, that's not a principle. That's a Cliftonism.
Okay.
I have a notepad.
Ready to throw all the computers away.
I try to get a look at the day, and I write down every single thing. I don't care how small it is that I have to do.
What time do you wake up?
Probably at 5 o'clock every morning.
5 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, I work out.
Now, you one time had told me, and I don't know how you said it exactly, but I remember I was talking about how I was so busy, and I probably need to talk to you about it again in just a minute, off camera or something. But I get so busy, and you had said, you love work, Mr. Clark, you love work, and you like to say that you're doing this to provide for your family. That's probably true in some way, but you love work. And you talked to me about, well, if you get up early, you're not going to take away from family time because your kids aren't up yet. And I remember being challenged because I thought, I'm not a morning person. And you are basically let me know that I probably wouldn't be a happily married person then if I were. And this was interesting how you explain this. And so for somebody right now who's watching this who says, you know, they wake up 10 minutes before they have to leave to work every single day. They wake up with their hair on fire, they're stressed, they get to work barely on time, they don't have anything written down, there's no to-do list, there's no time for reflection, there's no time for thankfulness. What kind of encouragement would you give somebody who is like how I used to be, that doesn't like to get up early and do these sorts of things?
You know, I would say getting up early is a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity to wake up early and to start your day thinking about the life that you have, thinking about the family that you have, and of course, thinking about the work that you have the opportunity to do. And that, to me, the work that you have the opportunity to do. Looking at it from that perspective. And once you get into that work mode, again, you go back to the list.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a list, all of these things will just bombard you.
Yeah.
And you try to end up doing 5 things at one time. and you get confused, and you get everybody in the office confused, because now you bring them into your crazy head,
Yeah.
as opposed to your nice outline list.
Do you write things on the list like, buy my beautiful wife, in your case, Barbara, buy Barbara this, or tell Barbara I love her, or call the kids, or do you write anything, or call my son, or do you write family things on that to-do list too? Mm-hmm. So you write family things, you write personal things?
Because I don't trust my mind to remember everything my heart wants to do.
And see,
so I write them down.
And I once thought that because every time I come to your office, if you ever get a chance, we might go to his office. He might let us in his office at some point. But we go to your office. It's always very organized. You always have everything so neat, and you always seem to be so calm. And it frustrates me. I'm like, how is he so calm? How does he have all these businesses and things he's doing? How is he selling books? And how are you so calm? And yet I feel like I'm just rushing all day trying to get stuff done. And I realize that you're a planner. I mean, you get up early and you literally have a 2 to 3 hour head start every day on the average person because you've been up for 3 or 4 hours.
At the end of the day, I do an assessment of how the day went.
When does that happen?
Probably around 5 o'clock.
What time do you kick yourself out of there and say, I got to get out of here, I got to go see my beautiful wife?
It depends. Some days I will leave at 4:30, but most often that's not the case.
Yeah.
But I do, at the end of every day, I look at my list to see what I've done, see what I didn't do, and transpose that over to a new list. Because if you leave that blank on the old list, you may forget it's there.
Oh.
Because, and you don't want to do that.
I've done that.
But it's work is not easy, but you got to be determined to be successful. And those are the code words for hard work. So you just do it.
Well, let's just say this as a capstone thought for the folks at home here. If I'm watching this and I am battling right now racism, I'm battling financial poverty, if I'm battling some kind of personal tragedy, if I'm battling some sort of adversity right now, some sort of perceived failure, something not good, what would you tell me?
I think it's important for every individual to recognize his or her value. And more importantly, to have a resolution within themselves to succeed. Abraham Lincoln said the greatest thing that a person can do is to have that resolution within themselves to succeed. And that goes back to what we said earlier, that wrestling at midnight. Coming to the conclusion that in spite of everything that's around me, I want to focus on those things that are good that I've done. I don't want to focus on the failures. I want to focus on those things that I have done that have been successful. Because if I have been successful one time, that tells me I can be successful the second time. Now, if I've been successful 5 times and failed 20 times, what am I going to focus on? I'm going to focus on the 5 times I was successful. And I'm going to say, wait a minute, I'm successful, and let's take it to the next level. But you have to have that personal resolve. That's literally is a very critical aspect of maintaining sustainability and success in a person's life.
Napoleon Hill, the famous success author, he wrote that failure is a prerequisite to success. And basically, behind every failure, there's a seed of an equivalent benefit. And I know that you're one of the guys I know of with the highest character, the best work ethic, the most integrity. And I know it's because you've gone through a lot of stuff. And I appreciate you opening up your heart to us and sharing these personal stories. And it means the world to me that you would take your time out of your busy schedule to be here. And I just want to tell you again, thank you so much for doing that.
It's a pleasure. Real pleasure.
Thank you.
JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old, but I've never had the 2-time Heisman Award winning Tim Tebow come present. And a lot of people, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow's going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Also, this is the first Thrive Time Show event that we've had where we're going to have a man who has built a $100 million net worth.
Wow.
Who'll be presenting. Now, we've had a couple presenters that have had $1 billion net worth in some like real estate sort of things.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we've had a guy who's built a service business, and he's built over $100 million net worth in the service business. It's the yacht driving, multi-state living guru of franchising. Peter Taunton will be in the house. This is the founder of Snap Fitness, the guy behind 9 Round Boxing. He's going to be here in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. JT, why should everybody want to hear what Peter Taunton has to say?
Oh, because he's incredible. He's just a fountain of knowledge. He is awesome. He has inspired me listening to him talk. And not only that, he also has, he practices what he teaches. So he's a real teacher. He's not a fake teacher like business school teachers. So you got to come learn from him.
Also, let me tell you this, folks. I don't want to get this wrong because if I get it wrong, someone's going to say, you screwed that up, buddy. So Michael Levine, this is Michael Levine. He's going to be coming. You say, who's Michael Levine? I don't want to get this wrong. This is the PR consultant of choice for Michael Jackson, for Prince, for Nike, for Charlton Heston, for Nancy Kerrigan, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times best-selling authors he's represented, including pretty much everybody you know who's been a super celebrity. This is Michael Levine, a good friend of mine. He's going to come and talk to you about personal branding and the mindset needed to be super successful. The lineup will continue to grow. We have hit Christian recording artist Colton Dixon in the house. Now, people say, Colton Dixon's in the house? Yes, Colton Dixon's in the house. So if you like top 40 Christian music, Colton Dixon's going to be in the house performing. The lineup will continue to grow each and every day. We're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup. But I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company. Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, when's it going to be? June 27th and 28th. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And so it says Tulsa, Jerusalem. I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa, Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrive Time Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. So when? June 27th and 28th. Who? You're going to come. Who? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. things. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing. And I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
James, did I tell you my good friend John Lee Dumas is also joining us at the in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show Business Workshop? That Tim Tebow and that Michael Levine will be at. Have I told you this?
You have not told me that.
Oh, he's coming all the way from Puerto Rico. This is John Lee Dumas, the host of the chart-topping eofire.com podcast. He's absolutely a living legend. This guy started a podcast after wrapping up his service in the United States military, and he started recording this podcast daily in his home, to the point where he started interviewing big-time folks like Gary Vaynerchuk, like Tony Robbins, and he just kept interviewing bigger and bigger names, putting out shows day after day, and now he is the legendary host of the EO Fire podcast, and he's traveling all the way from Puerto Rico to Tulsa, Oklahoma to attend the in-person June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshop. If you're out there today, folks, you've ever wanted to grow a podcast, a broadcast, you want to improve your marketing, if you've ever wanted to improve your marketing, your branding, if you've ever wanted to increase your sales, you want to come to the 2-day interactive June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show Business Workshop featuring Tim Tebow, Michael Levine, John Lee Dumas, and countless big-time, super successful entrepreneurs. It's going to be life-changing. Get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. James, what website is that?
thrivetimeshow.com.
James, one more time with more enthusiasm.
thrivetimeshow.com.
Shot everything rides on tonight. Even if I got 3 strikes, I'ma go for it. This moment, we own it, eh? I'm not to be played with, because it could get dangerous. See these people I ride with. This moment, we own it.
Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops, because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specifics, the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems, so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And Now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done his show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hours. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
First of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? And I said, no. And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed to the business owner to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa. Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business. And I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I am not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. The linear workflow for us in getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side.
Once I saw what they were doing, I knew I had to get here at the conference. This is probably the best conference or seminar I've ever been to in over 30 years in business.
You're not bored. You're awake, alive the whole time. It's not pushy. They don't try to sell you a bunch of things.
I was looking to learn how to just get control of my life, my schedule, and just get control of the business.
Planning your time, breaking it all down, making time for the F6 in your life, and just really implementing it and sticking with the program.
It's really lively. They're pretty friendly, helpful. very welcoming.
I attended a conference a couple months back, and it was really the best business conference I've ever attended.
At the workshop, I learned a lot about time management, really prioritizing what's the most important.
Biggest takeaways are, you want to take a step-by-step approach to your business. Whether it's marketing, what are those 3 marketing tools that you want to use, to human resources.
Now, some of the most successful people and successful businesses in this town, their owners were here today because they wanted to know more from Clay, and I found that to be kind of fascinating.
The most valuable thing that I've learned is diligence. That businesses don't change overnight. It takes time and effort, and you got to go through the ups and downs of getting it to where you want to go.
He actually gives you the roadmap out. I was stuck, didn't know what to do, and he gave me the roadmap out step by step.
We've set up systems in the business that make my life much easier, allow me some time freedom.
Here you can ask any question you want. They guarantee it'll be answered.
This conference motivates me and also give me a lot of knowledge and tools.
It's up to you to do it. Everybody can do these things. There's stuff that everybody knows, but if you don't do it, nobody else can do it for you.
I can see the marketing working. And it's just an approach that makes sense.
Probably the most notable thing is just the income increase that we've had.
Everyone's super fun, it's super motivating. I've been here before, but I'm back again because it motivates me.
Your competition's going to come eventually, or try to pick up these tactics. So you better, if you don't, somebody else will.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood.
This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
If you decide to not attend the Thrive Time workshop, you're missing out on a great opportunity.
The atmosphere of Clay's office is very lively. You can feel the energy as soon as you walk through the door, and it really got me and my team very excited.
If you decide not to come, you're missing out on an opportunity to grow your business, bottom line.
Love the environment. I love the way that Clay presents and teaches. It's a way that not only allows me to comprehend what's going on, but he explains it in a way to where it just makes sense.
The SEO optimization, branding, marketing. I've learned more in the last 2 days than I have the entire 4 years of college.
The most valuable thing that I've learned, marketing is key. Marketing is everything.
Making sure that you're branded accurately and clearly. How to grow a business using Google reviews, and then just how to optimize our name through our website also.
Helpful with a lot of marketing, search engine optimization, helping us really rank high in Google.
The biggest thing I needed to learn was
how to build my foundation, how to systemize everything and optimize everything, build my SEO.
How to become more organized, more efficient.
How to make sure the business is really there to serve me as opposed to me constantly being there for the business.
New ways of advertising my business, as well as recruiting new employees.
Group interviews, number one. Before we felt like we were held hostage by our employees. Group interviews has completely eliminated that because you're able to really find the people that would really be the best fit.
Hands-on how to hire people, how to deal with human resources, a lot about marketing, and overall just how to structure the business, how it works for me, and also then how that can translate into working better for my clients.
The most valuable thing I've learned here is time management.
I like the 1 hour of doing your business is real critical if I'm going to grow and change.
Play really teaches you how to navigate through those things and not only find freedom, but find your purpose in your business and find the purposes for all those other people that directly affect your business as well.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Everyone needs to attend the conference because you get an opportunity to see that it's real.